So when we think about funding, and you know what he's about ready to say, right? Show me the money. We hear this a lot. First we walk in, hi, I'm Jeff from Sprint. We don't have any money. You know, that's the opening one, right? Okay, thank you. But that's fine. So let us help you in that area. So who's familiar with E-Rate here? Anybody? Okay, so a lot of people are. So E-Rate's a cool tool, right? But if you've got a one-to-one mobile platform, it's not a cool tool because it doesn't allow you to fund data off a campus, right? Now, there's a lot of internal discussions at the FCC. We've got people that work for us in those discussions. MiCTA has people in those discussions. Let's be able to fund these devices off campus, please, so these kids can truly use it to learn. Grants. You know, everybody's applying for grants, and we know how hard that is. So, again, if you can get some help there, we see that as a real value. And then just, you know, take your existing budget. Don't look at one-to-one as another line item to your expense, right? Think about what you can eliminate. Now, you know, Jeff from Rochester mentioned earlier the document scanners and those type of things. We don't need them anymore. We don't need clickers because this one-to-one stuff will take its place. You know, interactive whiteboards, they're interactive for the person that's using it, right? But there's 20 people in the classroom it's not interactive for so much. So think about reallocating those sources. So I'm not going to really get into E-Rate. There's a lot of grants out there. It's kind of overwhelming, especially the smaller schools, the charters, the academies that don't have grant writers that are full-time. Let us help you find some money. Of course, there's a lot of areas to save with your budgets. Textbooks, you don't need them anymore, right? You need them maybe supplementary, but certainly not. And then the copiers and the maintenance and the paper and everything that goes with that. Take that, move it into your one-to-one initiative. It may not be costing you more, it's just taking those dollars and moving them over. So MiCTA is a great funding partner of ours, and we'll talk a little about what they can do for you. But think about joining MiCTA, taking advantage. They're a group purchasing organization. They've negotiated contracts on behalf of everybody in this room. They have thousands of members nationally buying off this contract, receiving discounts that you couldn't get on your own as a school district, even as an ISD, or even as a state group. Grants. Grants are really cool. So everybody's looking for money. We have a company that we work with out of New Jersey called the Grants Office. And what they will do is if you come to us and say, okay, Jeff, we have a project. We want to fund this project. It could be a wireline related, it could be wireless related, whatever it is. We want to look at 365 to go to the cloud. We don't want to buy licenses. We don't want to manage servers. We don't want to deal with this stuff anymore. We want to deal with our kids with the education piece. We can help you find grants. We'll write up the scope of that project. We send it to the grants office, and we get some amazing detail of grants that are available. And not only grants that are traditional education grants, but think about foundation grants, local grants, businesses in your community that may have some education funding. We'll research that, provide it to you, and all that it's done at no cost. So there's no cost to anybody in this room. If you come to us and say, hey, we're trying to do this one-to-one project, or we're trying to get some additional backhaul for a project that we have, we're trying to buy some devices, what's out there? Come to us, we'll write this up. I did this just because we're here and said, okay, if it's a mobile learn, and I made up a mobile learn scenario, what do you guys have? And this is what they came back with. So you can see the different areas of the funding. So from the Michigan Department of Ed, there's some money out there. U.S. Department of Education, there's some money out there. Science Foundation, Department of Agriculture, places you didn't think you'd find some money. And then the local foundations, one of them being the Dow Foundation. And they've given up $446 million to date. So it's a huge, there's a lot out there. There's too much for you guys to worry about. You do the educating. We'll help you on the technology side. We'll bring, you know, quality partners in like this to help you fund these initiatives. With that, I'm going to turn it over quick to Tim.
Okay. Am I the only person standing between lunch and these folks?
No, we've got one more.
That poor person. Just a few minutes ago, Jeff and I have worked together for years and years and years and years. And he's a great guy to work with. But just a few minutes ago, he said, you really have to shorten up your presentation. I said, Jeff, I only have one slide. And there it is. Can't make it much shorter than that. As Jeff mentioned, MiCTA is a national group purchasing organization. We've been around for over 30 years. We started right here in Michigan. One of the mysteries about MiCTA is its name. And we started with the major universities in the state of Michigan, the Michigan Collegiate Telecommunications Association. People got together to solve a common problem, which was long distance rates at that time were too high. They collaborated, they did an RFP, a request for proposals, lowered pricing, realized they were onto something. Today we just call it MiCTA because we actually have more K-12 members nationwide than higher education. We're also in government and healthcare as well. We are very pleased that we finally got to a point where we're able to give back to our members a little bit of what we've earned over the years. And last year was the first year that we were able to give out grants. We have a program that funds two different types of grants, and one is for impact and the other is for innovation. And we're real pleased that one of the programs that is running right now is here today, Rochester, and we're very pleased to see the wonderful progress that they've made. And, you know, doing a great job with that. And very innovative in that they are using mobile devices, handheld devices for special needs students where they can keep track of what's happening in the workplace. So I highly, if you're interested in that, I recommend talking with the folks from Rochester. And that's really the bottom line. I'd like to recognize John Sundstrom. He's the president of MiCTA. And John and I are, after this, we're going to be going through this round of grant proposals. We hope to make at least two more this round. We are really looking for people to do things like Rochester has proposed to do in terms of getting devices out there, taking advantage of community-based education resources by using mobile devices as well. We're also working on a position paper that we hope to present to the FCC sometime in the near future about why they need to lift that E-rate restriction in terms of what they will fund. It makes no sense to us that you have mobile devices, but you can't take them anywhere. We've heard that once or twice before today. And it's really a money issue there too, I think. They have so little money and so great a need for taking things off premises. But we're working on that. We'll see what happens.
So this is the impact in the innovation grants that MiCTA had. They've gone through 2 rounds of this so far. There's been $90,000 given to K-12 schools here in Michigan and in Cincinnati, Ohio. So, you know, make sure you take advantage of them. Look at us to help you guys. You know, we're free consulting services. We do networks for a living. We have subsidized products, services, devices. By all means, bring us in early, bring us in often. And I think what somebody had mentioned today, and I forget which presenter, but bring some students into that conversation. You'd be shocked the information you can pull from your students, because we did a deployment at a high school in lower part of Michigan, high school. Everybody had a cell phone, the one that Elliot talked about earlier with the slide-out keyboard with the screen that's about this big. We thought that was not a great idea for high school students. In our minds, we thought netbooks, notebooks, larger tablets. They said if you would have given me a netbook, notebook, or a tablet, we wouldn't have used them. We'd use them in the classroom. Maybe at 10 o'clock at night I'd fire them up and use them. But because we had those cell phones in our pockets, we used them 24/7. We're on the bus going to an event, I'll fire it up. I'm at a friend's house with a bunch of kids, we'll fire it up, we'll use it. It's always in my pocket, it's always there. A tablet's not going to be, a netbook and notebook's not going to be. And now with the device sizes getting, as we mentioned, we're going to meet in the middle here somewhere. This is, you know, this is a new Samsung Note 2. This is a cell phone, believe it or not. And everybody thought, oh, it's so big. Not really. It's a 5.5 inch screen. The tablets are 7-inch. But this is something I can carry with me, right? I'm not going to do that with a tablet. I'm going to have this in my pocket. The screen's big enough when I pull up the keyboard, I can still see what I'm doing on these devices. So bring some students into your conversation when you're putting together your technology plan, because they're going to provide you the information on devices that are going to get them excited about it. And if they're excited about it, they're going to use it.